Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Sal Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. I hope you're all doing well, guys. I hope everyone is fine, having a great day so far, guys. Look, you know what? Just minding my own business today. Thought I'd just, you know what? Have a normal day today. I thought, you know what? If it's going to be normal, nothing's going to happen. Then lo and behold, something just slaps you around the face and says, do you know what, Sal? You got to look at this. So I looked at it and I'm like, oh, for goodness sake. More leaks at Man United. More leaks at Man United, for crying out loud. How many leaks have we had at Man United? I mean, I thought it was only Old Trafford that was leaking. It's actually, we have more leaks within our squad than the stadium. For goodness sake, we should be called Leaks FC, guys, for goodness sake. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. So look, I'm looking at this and I'm trying to make sense of it all. I'm trying to put it all together, and you know, it just doesn't make sense, because these are the same players, right, who were complaining about the last manager and his tactics, and complained about the manager before that about tactics, and then before that complaining about the manager and having to go home in the dark, you know. And then yet there's some people who the light bulb is not quite switched on, is flickering a little bit, don't quite understand that. Do you know what? Maybe, just maybe, miraculously, that this might not be the manager. It might actually be the players, guys. It might actually be that. Has anyone ever thought about that? That these same players have sacked the other manager because of a tactical. They don't like the tactics. They sacked the manager before that because they don't like the tactics. I mean, I cannot fathom how anyone could still stick by some of these players. At the end of the day, some people are going to throw this at me, but these are different players, Sal. These are different players. It doesn't matter. It's a culture at the football club that we're talking about, and this kind of thing is resonating. It's a bit like, you know what, when you get a culture at a football club, you know, that passes down from generation to generation. It's a bit like being a Southampton or an Everton, and the Everton and Southampton way, so to speak, gets passed down from generation to generation, and the down tooling and the underperforming and the lack of success just gets passed down from generation to generation. And I heard this news about, you know, some players, there's a leak in the dressing room. And they're talking about Everton, Ruben Amorim's tactics, just like they spoke about Erik ten Hag's tactics, just like they spoke about Ralf Rangnick's tactics, just like they spoke about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics. I mean, where are we going to go from here? Wake up. The light bulb is flicking, guys. Anyone who supports this is absolutely bozo. It's a bozo. Because at the end of the day, the evidence is there. If this went to the court of law, even if O.J. Simpson's lawyer, they couldn't get out of this one because they've had this excuses before. We've heard it all before. Guys. We've heard about it. And these same players couldn't play in a 4-3-3, couldn't play in a 4-4-2, couldn't play in a 4-5-1, couldn't play in a 5-3-2, whatever it is. And you know, when are we going to start waking up and smelling the coffee, guys? That's one thing I would say. Big up. These conversations of players are normal human beings and discuss matters amongst themselves, media, friends, and yeah, but you don't do that at Man United, Gold George. This is spoken by you, George. You really don't understand the football club, mate. You really don't understand what this football club is about. If you think that's okay to speak amongst friends and leak it to the media, you really don't understand this football club, mate. At the end of the day, you know, you speak a lot of sense, but you also speak a lot of crap, mate. Kenny. Sal, remember the players executed 4-2-2 under Rangnick for one game, then they revert back to 4-2-3-1. At the end of the day, you know, it doesn't matter what formation you play. It doesn't. And I know that from playing football, managing football, coaching football, it matters about effort. You know, it matters about effort at the end of the day. That's all it matters about. It matters about the effort. And these players are not implementing effort anymore. You know, how comes we can have Sporting Lisbon play a unique style of football and absolutely smash it, but we can't? Are they better than us? Have they got better players man for man than us? It is ridiculous, isn't it? Good afternoon, Jim. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. Be sure to big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Big up Hage. What's going on? It sounds Norwegian. I hope you're doing well. It's like a family as well from generation. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I agree. Big up yourself. Good to see you, mate. Some players take bad culture from Van Gaal to Mourinho. Then they infect some players who can take Mourinho to Solskjaer. And then some of these players infected takes it to Ten Hag. Thank you so much, Hayes. Very, very good comment. That's more like it. At the end of the day, that is more like it. That is what I like to hear, my friend. That is the type of comment that I'm talking about. It's a culture. It's a disease. It's a cancerous infection that resonates through generations. And just like you have a team in England, for example, you'll have Everton and Southampton and these type of teams, and Newcastle, even them not being successful, not winning trophies, it resonates and the culture gets passed on down generations. Do you know what I mean? And it's very hard to get rid of this culture. If we think it's okay to talk about the manager and the tactics and go to the media and talk about it, I really doubt your allegiance to this football club. I really doubt, because when I was growing up, there were no leaks about tactics. So I never heard about 4-4-2 or 4-5-1, what Alex Ferguson was playing in the Champions League. I never heard about none of that coming out in the media. It's all pathetic, man. Absolutely. Jeb, oh gosh, it's 6 out. There are always leaks in our club. We have a tap run in the water. When the leaks come out, it really pours out. I'm so sick of I mean, mate, at the end of the day, you know, what can you say? At the end of the day, these are the things that happen at this football club. And I don't agree with it. And I don't agree with it. And I don't think it's normal. I do not think it's normal. I don't think it's normal that you leak secrets out from your work environment, from your manager. It's a football team. You're getting 300,000 a week to keep your mouth shut. At the end of the day, and play football on the pitch. And that is that's all I care about at the end of the day. Van Gaal played on the best football on the planet for 20 years before United. It was like watching paint dry. Van Gaal, I remember Helge. You say that. I remember Helge. I was at Old Trafford when Van Gaal was the manager of Man United. And many fans used to leave the stadium. Many fans left the stadium at halftime. I thought, this is too boring. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Jose Mourinho, when I used to go and see Jose Mourinho at Man United, it was more toxic. The atmosphere was more toxic. Van Gaal was boring. The atmosphere was more toxic. But at the same time, what's the commonator here? What's the common demeanor here? What's the common demeanor? Lack of success. What is the bottom line is that Manchester United need to be successful. Man United need to keep their mouth quiet and get on with winning football matches and winning trophies. At the moment, I would say that they're not doing it. They're just throwing excuses out there again. It's all coming to fore again. The same excuses, same with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the same as Jose Mourinho, the same as Ralph Rangnick. You know what I mean? Jose Mourinho has left Man United 1 trophies. You know, Rangnick went to a very poor Austria side and done very well with that poor Austria side. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's winning at Besiktas. You know, and at the same time, Rangnick will lead this football club and be successful as well. And you know what? I don't agree with people just because they have it in for Rangnick, whether they're jealous of him, whatever, I don't know, but they have it in for Rangnick. Everything that comes out, they're going against the narrative because it fits their narrative, if you know what I mean. Steve, could it be the bad managers that are too clever for the players? Could it be we had bad managers that are too clever for the players, like at school, set 1 piece for set 4 players? Maybe all these basic instructions were best. Steve, I like the comment, mate. That's a very good comment. Absolutely. What Ole Gunnar Solskjaer brought, he brought a mates rate sort of culture. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, legend at Manchester United, absolute diamond at Manchester United. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But you're absolutely spot on, Steve. It's because at the end of the day, maybe these players only want a manager like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Maybe they want that counter. Maybe it's because they can only play counter-attacking football. Maybe it's the fact they don't have the IQ to play good football. Maybe it's that. And there we go. It's the players, isn't it? At the end, this is why Ruben Amorim needed his own team. You know what I mean? This is why he needed his own team at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, these players have not, they're not played under any manager. The only time I saw a Man United team play was when they were playing counter-attacking football. And as we know, counter-attacking football is not sustainable if you want to have success. I mean, success in Premier League titles, Champions League titles. You can't play counter-attacking football. You need to have some sort of ascendancy in games and domination in games. And that takes, obviously, IQ and skill and determination and energy and press and all that on top. And these players just don't want to do that. I'm fed up with hearing excuses for these players. I really am. Amorim has been there 4 months. Why are we pushing the stats narrative against Amorim? Make it make sense. Kenny, low IQ football fans. Low IQ football fans. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they don't understand that great things take time. Great things take time, Kenny. And this is what it is at the end of the day. You know, Ruben Amorim has walked into an absolute shit show, right? An absolute shit show. And he's tasked with getting players, right, to play a certain way, a unique style of football that is intuitive, successful, done it in the Champions League, with players with low IQ, right? And then when you do that, you know, you're going to upset a few players, and players are going to get frustrated because they can't do it. And they're like, oh, God, I don't like the manager. I don't like this manager. Do you know what I mean? I don't like him. Then we're getting people throwing out stats from Sir Alex Ferguson and all that. Where are we going with this at the end of the day? You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, at the end of the day, it's a low IQ. People don't like the manager. They're Gareth Southgate brain. You know, and that is what they got. And they can have Gareth Southgate if they want, because at the end of the day, that is what they're doing. They just don't like the manager. It's as simple as that. And they're going to stick by that. And that is what low IQ people do. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Mourinho's teams was mentally a monster. We were waffles. Solskjaer played super intense football in Norway. Our team was lazy. Ragnick were the same. Intense philosophy. Were lazy. Helge, you know what? I say that. You're right. You're right, Helge. And what I would say in regards to this is that this team is still lazy. And it's exactly what we were saying before. It's a culture that is resonating from generations. You know, it's starting to be generations, isn't it? Now we're looking at what? Since Alex Ferguson retired, 12 years. You know, we're looking at that. And you know what? It's starting to be passed down, isn't it? To different players of different generations, of course. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? You can have your opinion about Ruben Amorim. You can criticize Ruben Amorim, but to absolutely throw him under the bus and say, "Oh no, it's all right." You could talk about leaks. You could talk about that's normal. It's human nature. Who are you, bloody? Who are you, bloody? What's her name? What's her name? Human nature. Who's saying human nature? Who was it? At the end of the day, I forgot one. Janet Jackson. At the end of the day, you know what I mean. And to be honest with you. Guys, at the end of the day, look, you know, leaks shouldn't be happening at a great football club like Manchester United. And if there is the leaks get leaked, if it comes out, then those players should be held accountable and those players should be kicked out of the football club. Absolutely. Helge, Ten Hag played some of the most beautiful football I've ever seen in the last 10 years. Absolutely, bruv. Absolutely. With kids at Ajax reaching Champions League semi-finals, it was horrible. Amorim is doomed to fail like his predecessors. And the most worrying thing, Helge, is that the light bulb is not switching on. It's still flickering. It's flickering. The light bulb is not switching on. And I can't speak to people when the light bulb is flicking in my face with absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? I'm trying to work it out how their brains work. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of success at Man United. I've been supporting Man United nearly 40 years. Right? I've seen a lot of success. I've seen when Alex Ferguson was hounded almost out of the football club. People wanted him out. There were banners there saying, Alex Ferguson out, Sir Alex Ferguson out. Can you imagine? Like it was these days, he would have been sacked purely for the fact of pressure from the fans after 4 years not winning anything. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Oh, mamma mia. Liza Rami, what's going on, my friend? I'll be the biggest mistake United made is letting Jose Mourinho go. He said the right things back 10 years ago about the players. Absolutely, Liza Rami. Facts. The problem was he spoke out about the Glazers. So did Ralph Ragnick. They both spoke out about the Glazers. They both spoke the facts. And what did the facts do? It got them sacked, didn't it? The facts got them sacked. When Jose Mourinho finished second in the Premier League, won the Europa League, right? That is when they should have backed Jose Mourinho. That's when they should have backed him. That's when they should have got all the eggs and went, Jose Mourinho, there you go. What do you need to take this team to the next level? I guarantee you Man United won a challenge for the league, you know, at the end of the day. But we didn't. We bowed down to player pressure again. Culture problem again, being passed down. We bowed down to player pressure. That's what we did. And to be honest with you, you know what? Since then, it's just been the same thing, the same old. Ralph Ragnick, same thing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, same thing. You know, Ten Hag, same thing. Ruben Amorim, same thing. Who are we going to get now? Who's going to get it at the end of the day? I'm reading sources from the United stand that United are sending out scouts to watch Victor Osimhen play. Yeah, I said that this morning, Jim. This morning I spoke about Victor Osimhen on this show, my friend. On this show. GK, what's going on? How to improve finishing chances where chances come along a minimum in a match. At the end of the day, what is unfair, and I'll tell you right now, GK, what is unfair is that we are relying on a 20-year-old to finish chances and score goals and take Man United to the next level when he should be brought in as a substitute and drafted into the football team properly, not the whole pressure of a football club that has fundamental problems on and off the pitch. You know what I mean? And relying on one player to do everything. The great thing about Garnacho, and I know he's missed chances, but at least he's fit. You know what I mean? At least he's fit. Where's Ahmad? He's half the season he's been injured. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the best form of ability is availability. We've seen what he can do. The Puskas winner, which is Garnacho, he can do it. He's got the potential. He's got the ability, but he's 20. We can't expect him to do a lot, everything. All right. In regards to Højlund, I'm a little bit worried about Højlund. I'm a bit worried because he's just not. He's not holding up the ball. He's not bringing players into play. He's just not that guy. I just don't think so. I think alone we're doing good. Basically, no matter what coach in the world, every coach in the world has weaknesses and strengths. Absolutely, mate. Guardiola without Rodri, exactly. Our players will always enhance a manager's weaknesses, and that is what it is, mate. That is exactly what it is. And whilst we're not, you know, at the end of the day, it's funny. It is funny though, because the fans I know, and I know some fans have been going for 60 years, right? The fans I know who've been going for 60 years. Some of them have created branches and around the world and stuff like that. Support Ruben Amorim. And they understand the situation. They understand the context. They understand what's actually going on. They don't look at Amorim and think, oh my God, he looks like the man who stole my girlfriend from me. That's what he looks like, so I'm not going to like him. That's basically what it's like at the moment, you know what I mean? And that is what is happening at the moment. And people are nitpicking at little things and stuff like that. When the guy is at 4 months, not even that, you know, hasn't had a transfer window, to be honest, 1 player in, 3 players out. You know what I mean? And expecting him to perform miracles with a team that was already underperforming way before Ruben Amorim walked through the door. You know, and now the same players are murmuring to the media, Ornstein, Wheeler, etc. Guys, it's disgusting, to be honest with you. Let me just read some of these quotes coming in, of course. Big up, Helge, by the way. Thank you for joining the stream. Good to see you, mate. Despite the criticism, Ruben Amorim remains firm on not changing his tactical principles at Manchester United, showing a commitment to his coaching philosophy. That is from Chris Wheeler of the Daily Mail, of course, Mail Sport. Manchester United dressing room source on recent results under Ruben Amorim. The feeling is we got away with one, but we might not be so lucky next time. I mean, at the end of the day, you got away with one playing for Man United, playing for the biggest club in the world. You got away with that one, didn't you? At the end of the day. At the end of the day. Some Manchester United players are beginning to lose faith in Ruben Amorim's system as results performances continue to suffer. He may still have their support, but confidence in the methods is inevitably starting to ebb. The disaffected group believe that even Manchester United win, it is largely down to individual moments of quality in good fortune rather than a tactical triumph. Guys, this has been happening under Erik ten Hag. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was known as Moments FC, weren't we? At the end of the day, the same thing, the same spin over and over again. When is it going to be time that we're going to wake up to this absolute nonsense, kerfuffle, whatever it is that is splurted out in the media, of course, guys? Lucky thing, what's going on, my friend? Crying players again, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely, Sing. Absolutely. Crying players again. Blame game. Let's pass the blame game. Pass the parcel. Let's pass the blame game again. Let's do that. And you know what this works for? You know who this works for? It works for Ineos and it works for the Glazers, because the negativity, right? The negativity has been fed to the media. It's going away from the Glazers and it's going away from Ineos and it's going away from their poor January transfer window. No one's talking about them now. People are talking about the leaks, what's going on. That's what they're talking about at the end of the day. People are talking about leaks. The striker needs to learn to create his own arrogant chance since they claim to know services coming their way. I mean, I was raised in a time, Kamali, of Andy Cole, Dwight York, and obviously Teddy Sheringham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Before that, Mark Hughes, Eric Cantona. You need to form a partnership up there. You need to form relationships in the attacking third. We have no chemistry, Kamali. There's no chemistry. With chemistry, for example, if you watch Andy Cole and Dwight York, the way were almost telepathic at times. We have no chemistry at the moment. We don't. And until we find a chemistry up front, we're not going to score goals, because at the moment it seems like where everyone is an individual, everyone is trying to do things on their own, whether it is Ahmad, whether it's Garnacho, whether it's Bruno, they're all trying to do the same thing. Cut in, shoot. None of them are really trying to cross or create. Absolutely. Big up Lucky Singh. The fact people want Amorim out, but forgot we're broke. I mean, who are we going to get, Kenny? Who are we going to get? Gareth Southgate. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Ruben Amorim is a fantastic manager, a world-class manager that, you know what, most teams in Europe wanted, right? Ten Hag was a world-class manager that most people wanted. Now, if Ruben Amorim was the manager of Real Madrid right now, Real Madrid would be top of the league, right? If Ten Hag was manager of Barcelona, Barcelona would be challenging at the top of the league in La Liga. Who are we going to get then? You know, at the end of the day, who do you want? Should we just get Potter? Should we just get Gareth Southgate in charge? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, come on, because at the end of the day, we want simple football, right? We want simple tactics for simple people. That's what we want at the end of the day, don't we? At the end of the day. Your view of Højlund, so spot on. I wish more people viewed it like that. He may not be it, but he shouldn't be Manchester United and number 9 main man. He should be back up and slowly fed into the team. Absolutely, Helge. This is exactly what people don't understand about football, is that young players are notoriously inconsistent no matter who it is. I mean, the class of 92 were inconsistent, right? The only difference with the class of 92 is that they had the likes of Steve Bruce, Gary Patterson, Dennis Irwin, Paul Parker, Peter Schmeichel, Cantona, Keane, Giggs, Cole in their team to nurture those players around them. You know, who does this Man United team have to nurture the Garnacho and Rasmus and these players? Who is in that team right now? Who? Bruno? What's Bruno won? Has he challenged for a league title? Has he challenged for a Champions League title? No. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look, there's no inspiring figures in there. I don't look at any player in that team. Maybe Casemiro, you could look at as on 5 European Cups, but Casemiro is on his sunbed at the moment. He don't really care. You know, so you look at every other player and you're looking at, who can I look at? Who can inspire me? Who's been there, done it, seen it, won the T-shirt? Who is that player that's going to take me out of the trenches, you know, and take me forward? There is no one there. You know, there's no one there, and that is the problem at the moment. Bottom players, you won't take part. You will be the bench. Absolutely. Lucky Singh. Yes, Sal. Folks are also discussing that why are we not bring an experienced striker and kept Rasmus as a backup. I mean, every Man United team when I was growing up always had strikers. Look, I'll give you an example, GK. Right? I'll give you an example. Robin van Persie was signed from Arsenal, nearly 30 years old. But Robin van Persie was a goal scorer. Andy Cole, 25 years old, 24, 25, proven goal scorer, right? Proven goal scorer. We look at those strikers, right? Dimitar Berbatov, proven goal scorer for Tottenham. Teddy Sheringham, proven goal scorer. You need these players in your team. You need these type of players in your team. And then when we look at Xerxes and we look at Rasmus, they are not goal scorers. Xerxes told it himself. He plays off the front. He's never scored more than 10 goals a season. You know, so you know, we're expecting miracles in the hardest league in the world for these players to do things. And Ruben Amorim is struggling. And you can blame the employment team. You can blame the people who bought the players, who signed these players. You blame them. You know, at the end of the day, that they haven't done their research. You know. Crying over system. Exactly. No one knows this, but Alex Ferguson used to change his system quite a lot. You know, and not many people understand that. You know, they just want to say, oh, you know, he's playing this system. The system is the devil. The system is the problem. It's definitely not. If Man United stick in to formation now and add Obi Martin, Ericsson, Senko, Kone, Motis to Joshua, I mean, let's see. Look, at the end of the day, Lucky Singh, we have a very good young conveyor belt of players, mate. We have a good young conveyor belt of players. Some of those players are going to be drifted in. The league title is obviously the league title, my goodness. But the league is obviously over. We're not going to qualify for the Champions League. We're not going to qualify for the Europa League, fighting league. The only way we're going to do that if we miraculously win the Europa League or we win the FA Cup and go to the Europa League. At the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff to come. We just have to show an element of patience. An element of patience. Goals for George. Amorim is not better than Andre Villas-Boas at Porto. He had Costinha, Falcao, Hulk, etc. and looked like the next Mourinho. Chelsea, he flopped. Spurs, he flopped. And now you're painting people with the same brush, which shows a lack of IQ. Again, George, you're painting him just because he's Portuguese. You're saying he's the next Villas-Boas. Guys, I want to say something to you before you leave, right? Look, this was Ruben Amorim before he left Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League. Look at it. Look at it. Right? 20 teams. What was it? 26 teams? Odd. Top of the league. But the system doesn't work. It's trash talk, man. Just because you don't like him at the end of the day. Lucky Singh. Rasta. Sal, these players, mate, no more players. Absolutely, Rasta. And I cannot believe, Rasta, that people are backing some of these players. Cannot fathom it. I cannot. It's criminal. My message is to those people who want to throw Amorim under the bus. I will never, ever do that. I've watched United play for 33 years. If you change managers and keep the same players, nothing happens. Exactly, Jim. Exactly. And if you build, it's like building a house that keeps falling down with the same bricks, isn't it? It's going to fall down again. Absolutely. All great teams have a great keeper and one key midfielder, 10 with no ego, good players around them who look up. Example, Schmeichel and Cantona. We have none of that. Lies around me. We have none of that. Who is our Cantona? Who is our Schmeichel? Who is our Keane? You know what I mean? We don't have anyone. We don't have anyone at the end of the day, who you can look at and think he's going to get us out of the trenches. We got players who like to point the finger and blame people. You know what I mean? And blame everything. You know what I mean? Blame this person, blame that person, and this and that. It's the manager's fault. We've been here before. By the way, is your view about Neville here and calling him Glazer parasites public for years and now suddenly being silent because he's in the committee with Sir Jim? Gary Neville, as a player, I respect. As a pundit, I disdain him. I don't like him as a pundit because he's looking after his own interest. Every single manager he's throwing under the bus. He's not calling out the Glazers. He's not calling out Ineos to suit his own agenda, his own business, priorities. And it's disgraceful. He should not be commentating on Man United anymore because of the conflict of interest that goes on there. On top of that, he should not be doing that. It should be someone else commentating on Man United games, not him, because he's obviously had it in for the manager. It is obviously sounding like a bit of an agenda. Now, those who watch Webby and O'Neill, he said it there perfectly. He said that there was an agenda against Ruben Amorim from Gary Neville, and it's disgusting. And I absolutely agree with that. It is disgusting. Definitely. Rasta, I don't preach violence. These lazy players need to suck. I do agree. Rasta, they agree. They do need that. They do need that, my friend. Absolutely. If not happy with we are sitting on bench players, absolutely. We got a whole squad of bench players. Absolutely. Big up Rich. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, mate. Hope you're good. Don't compare those bumpkins with elite United players. Absolutely. Bumpkins. Big up. Big up goals to George. I know you're against the manager, so I don't agree with it. And I think the majority of people who have who've been watching Man United a very long time, like I know people 60 years watching Man United, they're backing this manager, and I respect your opinion and I respect everyone's opinion, but sorry, mate, blaming the manager for what's going on right now at this football club, is naive, misinformed, overreaction, sensationalist, and damn right unacceptable in my book, but I respect your opinion. Lucky Singh, if I am a manager attacking formation now, I'm going to add Sekou Kone, Matthias de Ligt, Christian Eriksen, Patrick Dorgu, Xerxes. Lucky Singh, at the end of the day, there's so many things that we can do to change this team, and fortunes can change in a sixpence. Fortunes can change in a sixpence, absolutely. It's the owners, really poor squad building for years. Absolutely, Rich. Absolutely, it's the owners. Rich, you know, I'm seeing people turn against their manager. Right, we can criticize a manager. That's fine. We can pick the bones out of an individual game and say he did this wrong. He did this wrong. But people calling him to be sacked, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, my goodness me. I mean, for crying out loud, you know, I can't believe. I mean, IQ. I mean, goodness me. Big up, of course. Big up, Helge. For every youth player breaking through, we need to have a player in their prime in the same position. RD, very good comment, mate. A guy spoken with experience, right? And who do we have in those positions right now? Who do we have that a young player can come into the team right now? When I was Paul Scholes, I've never been Paul Scholes. Actually, I'm not Paul Scholes. I'm not Ginger. But anyway, when I used to watch Paul Scholes, and Paul Scholes came in the team, he had Roy Keane. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? When you think about players like who coming through the system, like David Beckham, they don't, you know what? They had other players there that could have that did the business as well. You had players like Andre Kanchelskis who were there at the time, but he ended up leaving. Of course, we did, of course, like that. But you had players there around them who nurtured those players, not only in the same position, but Eric Cantona, for example, nurtured the young players, and it could be argued that Eric Cantona was fundamental in the class of '92 reaching to the peak that they reached. And, you know, I would say that when Eric Cantona came back in 1995, 1996 against Liverpool in the 2-2 draw, it sort of elevated United to a next level. You know, we won the double, Cantona getting the winning goal. And most of those players, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Nicky Butt, Gary Neville, Philip Neville, would say that, you know what, Cantona was instrumental in that team. And right now, we look at the team, we look at Man United, and we look at who's going to be instrumental for those young players? Who's going to be that guy who's going to take those players, those young players, and be their guy to look at? He's the guy. I'm going to look at him, and he's going to inspire me. Because when you look at them, and you look at Bruno throwing his arms around, right? You got Bruno throwing his arms around. You got Casemiro walking on the pitch. You got Rashford who was walking on the pitch when he was here. You know, you got players feigning injury. You got players always injured. You got players not scoring goals and can't control a ball. You got players who can't do a 3-yard pass. Now, I like to ask these people: is it Ruben Amorim is teaching these players not to have the ability to pass a 3-yard pass? Is it Ruben Amorim is telling these players not to finish their chances? No, because at the end of the day, that is the quality issue, isn't it? That's the quality at Man United. And this is the problem that we're having at the moment. We're playing, everything but the girl. You remember everything? Step off the train, walking down your street again. But this time, it's everything but the players. It's everything but the players at the end of the day. And blame the manager. The manager is he's the Antichrist. He's the guy. He's the reason. He's the one. He's the one who's doing it. And it's unacceptable for me. I'm sorry, guys. Mateus Delete, Harry Maguire come out of question some players' attitude on the pitch. At least Harry Maguire has shown a very good attitude since he's been playing for Man United, I would argue. He's been very good. Not very good, but he's had a great attitude, and I respect that. And that is what it all boils down to as well, is an attitude as well. It is an attitude. You know what I mean? Kamali. Haaland is not much younger than Højlund. He went on to score plenty of goals. It's just the mentality of these lazy players, and Amorim is at fault with some decisions. At the end of what do you want him to do, Kamali? There's no players there. There's no players there. You could bring in Tio Obi Martin. They're gonna trash him like they did with Garnacho. They're gonna trash him. If he misses 1 or 2 chances and he doesn't score in 3 games, they're gonna trash him and destroy the young players' confidence. As we've been talking now with me and Rich, we've just been talking about who are those players on that pitch who are going to inspire. There's nobody. You're throwing them into the lions right now. So that's a very great comment you made. I love it. The youth have no experienced leader who will help them grow. Exactly. At the end of the day, if I'm sitting in a room, right, and I'll give you an example. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger split up with his wife, okay? Arnold Schwarzenegger split up with his wife. I think his daughter was raised. He had 2 sons. I think it's 2 sons or a son and a daughter. Anyway, one of the children were raised by the mum. The other one of the children were raised by the father, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, when those children got older, the one raised by the mum was fat. No offense, not fat shaming, whatever, was unfit, out of shape, like the mum. The son was built like an ox, fit on a bicycle because he'd been raised by Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, when you're being raised in a football club with players that are not winning, that are, serial losers, you're just going to pass on that mentality to those players, to the younger players. And that's what I would say. That's why it's so dangerous just to say, throw the youngsters in there. Throw the youngsters in there because they're going to learn all the bad habits from those players. They've got no winners on the pitch. And that's what it is. And that's through my experience watching football for a very long time. And I've seen other teams do that. I've seen other teams, in that same situation. Absolutely. Big up, Jim. Harry Maguire, Mateus Lit has the common question. Actually went on the field. Absolutely. Lucky Singh. Big up, Lucky Singh, my friend. Big up. The 99 season, we had Cole, York, Sheringham, and Solskjaer. For like 4 or 5 years, they had the roster of Van Persie, Rooney, Chicha, Welbeck, Falcao, Berbatov, etc. Not all the same, but you get it. Like, for example, Berbatov played the role of Teddy Sheringham, right? Similar players dropping off the front too. So basically, you had Berbatov playing the role of Teddy Sheringham, Dwight York playing the role of Teddy Sheringham, Van Persie or Rooney playing the role of Teddy Sheringham. It was like that. We had different strikers, but each one of those strikers were prolific. Each one of those strikers make things happen out of nothing, right? But they were older, they were experienced, they won things, And to be honest with you, that is what this whole boils down to, isn't it? Experience and winning things. That's what it is. And our players right now have not won anything of significance. I mean, we could talk about the FA Cup till the cows come home. We could talk about the League Cup. But yeah, they're good trophies to win. But they're not the league and they're not the Champions League. So when you look at these players, it's completely different now. You look at those names there that you mentioned, Helge, right? You mentioned Cole, York, Sheringham, and Solskjaer. I mean, how comes, right? I can look at the 1994 team and I can go, Schmeichel in goal, Paul Parker, right? Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, Dennis Irwin, Brian Robson, Paul Ince, Andre Kanchelskis, Ryan Giggs, Mark Hughes, Eric Cantona. How comes I can move on to 1995, 1996, and I can say Gary Neville, Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, Dennis Irwin, Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Andy Cole, Eric Cantona. How comes I can move on to 1998, 1999, and I could say Gary Neville, Jaap Stam, Ronnie Johnson, Dennis Irwin, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Teddy Sheringham. How comes I can do that? But right now, I look at the team and I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm going, who is a good player? Like, what's the best team? We don't have it because they're all the same. They're like, they're not there yet. And they're just not those type of players. And the reason they're not that type of players because I guarantee you this. If you brought in Rasmus Højlund, right? If you brought in Rasmus Højlund into the 98-99 team, alongside Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Rasmus Højlund would score goals, right? He would. At the end of the day, football, when you go into a pitch, an environment that is toxic, that environment that is, awful. It must be awful to be a young player in that squad. And people expect you to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They expect you to be that player, but you're not because you haven't got the players around you, and the players are moaning, and we're losing, and it's just hard to fathom. What's worse is that Ruben Amorim has been put into this situation where fix everything. We're not going to give you any players, but fix everything. Do your best. No preseason, can't experiment. So he has to try and experiment during the season, and sometimes it's not going to pay off. I remember us playing the likes of Rochdale and teams like that, and playing Thailand in preseason when in the 90s, and losing games against the likes of Rochdale and teams like that, and but we were experimenting because it was a preseason. You know what I mean? But now Ruben Amorim hasn't had that preseason, and this is what I would say. Come on, how is it Amorim's fault? He wanted to bring strikers, defender, midfielders, and a sellout Deadwood. The Glazers and Ineos are not to back. Exactly, and we need to remember who the Glazers and Ineos. We need to focus our energy and our criticism on Ineos and the Glazers. And when Ruben Amorim has a proper window, when he brings in his proper players, then we can argue. You know what I mean? And we can say, well, he's got to do better. But right now, I'm not going to do that. I hope he wins the Europa League and shuts a lot of people up. Amorim tried a lot of Manu number 10, false 9, but also not put in effort. That's the thing. This is like generally brilliantly small community with a few people who have brains in our fan base. It is actually brilliant, except for goals of George. I pray for him. Absolutely, Held. What can we say, man? At the end of the day, Held, I think you're from Norway. Are you from Norway? But you know what? They all have been. The Scandinavia has a great football heritage with Manchester United, and you're welcome here. Absolutely. Ole Gunnar is also one of my favorite players of all time. And I just feel like, you know, we need to understand and look at things in a context. Don't just look at things from an emotional point of view. Look at things from the facts and look at it in a contextual point of view. Don't just look at things because I don't like the manager. I don't like certain players. But when they go on the pitch, I hope any of them score a goal. I hope they play well. You know, I hope we win. That's what I'm about. Do you know what I mean? And I don't have any emotional affiliation with players. You know what I mean? I have emotional affiliation with Manchester United. And my emotional affiliation is for Manchester United to win games, not because I want to be proven right or wrong. I hope I'm proven right if Man United win the game. But at the end of the day, I'm always supporting the team. And at the end of the day, that will be hard to do. I ain't got to did it. Absolutely, my friend. Big up, Lucky Singh. I get you, brother. I get you. I get you. They can't even call out some players' desires on the field. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, Fan. How you doing, man? I hope you're doing well, Fan. Long time no see. I thought you disappeared from me. I saw another Fan Devereux. I thought you were a catfished, mate. I thought you were catfished. I saw another one, believe it or not. Big up, Sal. Are we going to fall for the same cycle of past 10 years? Every time we're having a bad run, the players don't like the system, which is blaming the manager, and we as fans have fall for it. We don't, LT. There are a few that do fall for it, unfortunately. Some of them in this community, they fall for it. The same old trick. I'm sorry, but I just feel like the light bulb isn't quite on, and they're not really bing, bing, bing. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. Wake up, guys. At the end of the day. It's Susie. Wake up. At the end of the day. Lucky saying the manager focus will be getting the season best he can. Absolutely, Lucky saying the best thing for us to do this season, Lucky saying, is to get through this season and just get through it, and hopefully it will get better next season, and that's all I would say. And if he doesn't do well, then we will call it out, and then we will say, look, you know what? He's had a transfer window. It's got to be better, guys. You know what I mean? That's what we would say. John, what's going on? Who do you think the leak is? I know who the leak is. I've got a feeling who the leak is. And you know who the leak is, guys? And you guys are going to laugh at me, but it's Luke Shaw. It's Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is the leak. I'm pretty certain of that because I'm hearing things that, you know, he talks a lot. He's got a big mouth and he talks a lot. But, you know, you don't have to be playing to be talking about. Don't quote me, but I'm hearing that, you know, that is him. And what's going on with that? You know, what's going on? And at the end of the day, because you look at the team right now, Man United have got a very small squad, right? And all the players that are playing, they're playing every single week. So I doubt it's any of those players on the pitch. And I doubt it's any of the kids, obviously not. So it's going to be one of those players who've been there for a long time. These same type of leaks coming out of the media, the same type of things, of course, coming out of the media. Of course. Lucky Singh, average crap working with, absolutely. Seem Old Trafford intimidate our own players instead of being motivated. They fear the media and the players want to win. Absolutely, Fan. Changing formation will not help at all. We just don't get astute player. Have absolutely, Fan. Spot on, brother. Spot on. Spot on. Gospel. Absolutely. Sal Matos, number 10. He's decent. I'll check him out. Now, as a manager, I am only add more minutes into Senko, Kobe, Obi, Marti. We'll have to wait in the season, obviously, Lucky Singh. We'll wait until what happens in the season, of course. We have crybaby players. We do. We really do. And one of them's a captain. Kamali, why should Amorim change his attacking, aggressive style of play football, giving in to these players who demand? And that is where we go wrong, because then you give in to player power. And then when you give in to player power, it makes you look weak. That's what happens. And then you end up, you know what I mean, in a road to nowhere, losing respect from the players. That's what happens. You end up losing the respect. And once you've lost the dressing room's respect, it's very hard to get it back. Unless you sell all of them, it's very hard to get it back. Hopefully a lot of them will be gone. LT, these ex-players are also not doing us any favors with the cap opinions about Amorim, because when he came up, they said give him time. When things go wrong, they are, I mean, they're there to just get clicks and likes and stuff like that. That's what they're there to do, unfortunately. That's what they're doing. And you know what? It's working for them. And you know what? I don't take any of their opinions seriously. I really don't. I don't, honestly. I've heard a lot of opinions. Michael Owen for another one is another one. I've heard Dimitar Berbatov talking. I've heard Paul Scholes talking. I've heard all of them talking so far. And you know what? I mean, you would have thought that they would know more about the game than they do, having played it. Our players with Sir Alex Ferguson were uncoachable, interchangeable, were coachable, interchangeable, and winning a mentality, and were disciplined. Above all, discipline. Absolutely, Irfan. And Irfan's telling it as it is, guys. That is absolutely spot on. What are these players? Are these players coachable? Nah. Are they interchangeable? Nah. Do they have a winning mentality? Obviously not, because they're not winning. So you know what? That is exactly what it is, and we don't have that at the end of the day. These guys have sacked various managers. Let's put that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why now add more youngsters, my seniors crying? Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Big up. Of course. Big up, Asif. What's going on? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Really good to see Asif in the house, of course, my friend. Good to see you. Absolutely. Thank you, everyone who's joined me this evening, of course, guys. Really appreciate every single one of you, of course, who's joined me. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness, Sal. That's what I was thinking. Big up, Jim. Big up. Great minds think alike, don't they? Do that? I'm not being arrogant, but sorry. So we think alike, me and Jim. Big up, Jim. Luke Shaw, yeah, but has no single game in Amorim who could have leaked. Luke Shaw, yeah, but he has no single game in Amorim who could have leaked. It doesn't matter if he doesn't play for Amorim. He's in the football club. It doesn't matter. He will look at it himself and make various excuses. I mean, he's the only one who's still there. Remember that from the other leaks from the other seasons. Soon ask for a little bit of change, crying. Absolutely. Traveling south, sometimes big up fan. Good. Whenever you're in Abu Dhabi, let me know, brother. I was thinking Luke Shaw, and you were thinking it too. Great minds think alike. They say absolutely. I mean, he's the only one still there. He's the only one still there, of course. Kazi, when he gets his own players this summer, then some fans and journalists will be quiet. I hope so. Fingers crossed. As we say, inshallah. You know what I mean? Inshallah. Hopefully. Absolutely. People thinking foreign players from Brazil, Argentina, Denmark, etc., British journalists on speed dials are having an absolute laugh. It's obviously, no matter what, a British player with contacts. Luke Shaw, Elge. Luke Shaw. That's the only one I can think about. He's the one. It's been going on. What's the common demeanor here is that he's the one that's been going on for years and years and years. This same thing has been going on for years and years and years. And he's the only one who's still there at the moment. The rest are on loan. Unless it's Marcus Rashford talking at Aston Villa about it. Let's think about it, guys. At the end of the day, it could be a number of those players. You know what I mean? It could be Marcus Rashford talking about it to the media. Say, look, listen, I've got some news for you. I can tell you, who the league is, etc. Big up, Jojo Don. What's going on? United. Come on, United. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, of course. So I can't agree with you more. Looks like Shaw is the obvious league. Irfan, you get a feeling as well, don't you, Irfan? You get this overriding energy towards it. Like, he's problem. Because you look at over the years, the leagues have come, and who's the one remaining player there? You know what I mean? It could be Marcus Rashford at Aston Villa, but I'm pretty sure that Marcus Rashford is keeping his head down at the moment because he didn't want to get involved in that Jadon Sancho shenanigans either, did he? So there we are. Sal, manager is a leader to give unity and discipline to players. Players are obviously obey the leader. A family is perfect when family members are united. Our players feel like they're head of the family. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. Paul, what's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. A lot of the players are hiding on the pitch, not Bruno or De Ligt. That's true. Bruno is the captain. He needs to bring them up, though, doesn't he, Paul? He needs to bring these players up as the captain. We're sinking ship. He's the captain. Amorim would keep band his head, but can't make his squad work. But attack, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's madness, isn't it? Luke Shaw is a snitch. But a lot of them, absolutely, Paul. Big up, Paul. Thank you for joining, Paul. Check now. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Dalla and Bruno are going to get Amorim sacked. Oh. Goals of George, it's about reality. Until we run it properly, this is the mediocrity we should expect. But it doesn't mean we should accept it. And that doesn't why we should protest or something. Absolutely. And we don't blame the manager fully like that and throw him under the bus. Inspired, no personality, though. To be honest, Xerxes impressed and Casemiro get out of our club. Xerxes been brilliant. Fair play to Xerxes, by the way. Did brilliant. I absolutely concur. If the media reported that a player communicated it, then it could be English guy because the only ones I know that are connected to the likes of Wheeler and people like that is Luke Shaw. That's the only one I know. But I'm not going to be saying that 100%. That's all I know, that he's connected to the British journalists. That's all I know. I've been telling this for years. No manager is born yet to train these players. Prats. Each infected player needs to go. No matter who, protests should go louder than ever. Get rid of these greedy ownerships as well. Thank you so much, Asif. Love that comment, brother. Love that comment. Brilliant comment, of course. Absolutely. Jim, Sal, big up and love you all the way. Tell it like it is. This channel is the best during the hardships we're going through in our club. The community is a breath of fresh air. Thanks for lifting up the spirits up. Thank you, Jim, and thank you for joining me. You lift the spirits too. Absolutely. And thank you, Helge. Thank you for joining. First time I've seen you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. Of course, regarding Shaw, do you remember his post-match interview when he had Ragnick, when he said something like he has to find a better passing solutions for us, etc. There you go, Helge. You reminded me. Absolutely spot on. Now, what's he talking about there? He's talking about tactics again. So who's the one leaking about tactics this week? I wonder. There you go. And I'm English, guys. I'm English. I'm born and bred in East London, for goodness sake. And I'm saying it's Luke Shaw. At the end of the day, goodness me. Anana is a leak jokes. Anana. Anana needs to. I mean, the only thing leaking from Anana is the balls on his hand. That sounded wrong, but the only thing leaking is goals for Nana. That's the only thing leaking with Anana. Absolutely. At the end of the day. Absolutely held. Also, an argument against Shaw is that he used so much time at home and rehab injured, so he has a lot of time to think, talk, read, etc. He does. And you know what? People's minds do grow. He does read social media, and his mind will grow, and he will develop a little bit of bitterness and stuff like that, won't he? At the end of the day, absolutely. I personally feel there is no point discussing United players at this moment. We all know inside what we have to is to impotent the team. Protest and game is the only way, and to boycott games is the only way to get out of the status back. I agree, Asif, absolutely. Spot on, man. Spot on. So I just don't like people turning against the manager now. It's too early to turn against the manager. It's just too early. What are we going for? For goodness, crying out loud. Give me strength. So I'm not wanting to happen, but by the way, the shape or form, if the Glazers sack Amorim and bring in Southgate, will you back him? I will support the team and not Southgate. I support Manchester United. That's actually said, Jim, I will support Manchester United. That's it. But you know what? I think it's one of the worst decisions, most disgraceful decisions in our history. I would think that if they sack him. Having not backed him. It's mad. Absolutely, bruv. Anala leaking goals. That's the only thing he leaks at the end of the day. That's what I know about anyway. I like Amorim management skills, but he has to stop being stubborn. This is a perfect reason for him to try tactics in youth players we have. And one thing I'll say, check now, is that every manager in world football, successful manager, is stubborn. Alex Ferguson was stubborn. Certain players played for Alex Ferguson that I didn't like, right? And they played and they played and they played. And every manager is. Big up, Stephanie. What's going on? Good to see you. And big up the Chatterboxers. Thank you so much for joining me, of course. My first time here, but I'll be here every day from now on. This is the most intelligent community I've seen in years. And that's based on one show. Big up to you, but also the people here. Thank you so much, Helge. Thank you very much, my brother. You absolute legend. Thank you, guys. And thank you, everyone who's joined me today, of course. You absolute diamonds. It's come to the end of the show, unfortunately, guys. Big up, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Not bad, not bad. Can we get to 40 by the time I turn off the show, guys? Can we do that? Of course. I love the stream, by the way, Sal. You're a breath of fresh air. Speaking sense. Up the Reds. Big up, Paul. I respect everyone's opinion. Even goals for George. I respect his opinion. Much love. We don't always agree, but that is the way it is, of course, guys. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Asif, told you so. Plastic fans will be like, Amorim is a fraud and sack him and we'll loud soon. Here we are. We fans contribute to the fall of United. mean, we don't personally, but there are some bozos out there who do, unfortunately, of course, guys. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Helge. Thank you, everyone in the community. Much love to you all. Big respect. Don't forget, I'm back every morning for Breaking Dawn at 7 a.m. UK time, which is about 8 a.m. Central European time. And guys, thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the way out, guys. Let's get to 40 likes. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Have a great evening, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. Much appreciated. Glory, glory, Man United. Keep the faith in Amorim. Ruben Amorim's army. Let's do this. I'm out. Peace. Take it easy.
Yeah, all those people that have just been sacked at Man United, they're all the people that made the club tick. And you know, it's not like any other company in the country. You know, industry. Football's you got to have a lot of love in the football club, and I felt that as soon as I went to Man United. Loads of people around the place, and all those little jobs that no one wants to really do. There was people in there that had a love for the club. They've all gone now. It's going to be tough, I tell you, for people there. It's not like a homely club now. When you get rid of all those people that love the club, for peanuts as well. No, it's a big thing. And Sir Alex was big on that. He had people in there around that loved the club and wanted it to carry on doing it. They was all doing their little part to keep it ticking over, keeping the players happy and making them feel loved and wanted when they're coming across from whatever part of the world.